Sha'Carri Richardson, is walking into the most brutal 100-meter field she has ever faced. 6 former world or Olympic medalists stand between her and a third Prefontaine Classic title. 4 of them have already dipped under 10.90 this season. Only 1 heat separates her from the final. Can she survive this brutal comeback test, or does it stall before it starts? This is not a normal Diamond League stop. The 2026 Prefontaine Classic lands on the 4th of July for the first time in its 51-year history. Hayward Field is hosting it as part of the country's 250th birthday, and the lineup reads more like a World Championship final than a mid-season race. 17 sprinters are entered in the women's 100-meter. Only the top finishers move out of the heats and into the afternoon final. The heats are set for Saturday afternoon, with the final scheduled for later that day, and the whole thing airs live in the United States on NBC and Peacock. Here is what makes this format even more dangerous for Richardson. At the World Championships, sprinters get 3 rounds to work through, heats, then semifinals, then the final. At Hayward Field this weekend, there are only 2 rounds. 1 heat, then straight into the final. That means there is no cushion, no second read on the competition, and no room for a slow start to fix itself later in the day. The margin for error just got smaller, and Richardson knows exactly what a slow start can cost her. 2 years ago in Paris, she looked like the woman to beat in the Olympic 100-meter final. A slow reaction off the blocks let Julianne Alfred of St. Lucia get away early, and Richardson could never close the gap. She crossed the line in 10.87 for silver, with training partner Melissa Jefferson taking bronze right behind her. Richardson answered days later, anchoring Team USA to gold in the 4x100-meter relay. It proved she could fight back from a tough result, but it also showed how fast one bad start can end a race that looked hers to win. Then 2025 happened, and it tested her even more. Richardson arrived at the World Championships in Tokyo as the defending champion, carrying a bye into the later rounds. An injury had slowed her early season, and her form never fully came together. In her semifinal, a slip at the start tripped up several other runners and forced the whole field to restart. When the race finally went off again, Richardson stumbled out of her transition and had to fight just to survive. She scraped into the final as one of the fastest non-automatic qualifiers, getting in by the smallest of margins. In the final itself, she finished 5th in 10.94, missing the podium in the exact event she had won 2 years earlier in Budapest. She broke 11 seconds only once the entire season, a rough number for a sprinter who had once looked untouchable over this distance. That is the version of Richardson this brutal field is daring to show up again. This year has told a different story so far. On June 22nd, Richardson ran 10.77 seconds at the Star Athletics Sprint Series in Florida. That is her fastest time since 2023, when she ran 10.71 at the USA Outdoor Championships on this very same track. The June run also made her the 2nd fastest woman in the world this season. The speed is back. Now she has to prove it holds up against a field built to punish any mistake at all. Standing right in her way is her own training partner, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. Jefferson-Wooden is the reigning world champion, and she is not just a threat, she is the biggest one in the field. She enters Eugene fresh off a win at the Stockholm Diamond League in 10.84 seconds, and she has not lost a 100-meter race since that Paris Olympic final, where she took bronze right behind Richardson's silver. In Tokyo last year, she ran a championship record of 10.61 seconds, a time that makes her the 4th fastest woman in history. She is also the defending Prefontaine Classic champion, having won this exact race in 2025 in 10.75. The two of them share a coach, share a training group, and share the same track most mornings of the week. None of that will matter once the gun goes off. So already, the sprinter Richardson trains with every single day stands as the single biggest hurdle to a clean comeback story. Jamaica is bringing its own wave of danger. Shericka Jackson is chasing a comeback story of her own. A series of struggles in 2024 forced her out of the Paris Olympics entirely, a brutal blow for a 2-time world 200-meter champion who had been one of the most feared sprinters on the planet. She fought her way back in 2025, finishing fourth at the Tokyo Worlds in 10.88, and she has looked sharp all through 2026, showing no lingering effects from the setback that kept her out of Paris. Tina Clayton, the reigning world silver medalist in this event, ran a personal best of 10.76 in that same Tokyo final. She arrives in Eugene alongside her twin sister Tia Clayton, giving Jamaica two more sprinters capable of running with anyone in the field. 4 women in this race have already dipped under 10.90 this season, and that list includes Richardson, Jefferson-Wooden, Jackson, and Tina Clayton all at once. Then there is the name most casual fans have not heard yet. Adaejah Hodge, representing the British Virgin Islands, just ran 10.63 seconds at the NCAA Championships at this exact stadium, making her the 5th fastest woman in history. She enters the weekend as the world leader in the event this season, and she is doing it as a college athlete stepping into a field of full-time professionals with nothing to lose and everything to gain. That kind of pressure has broken older, more experienced sprinters before. Britain's Dina Asher-Smith rounds out the star power. She finished 8th in last year's World Final and recently moved her training base back to London after leaving her longtime coaching group in Texas. She still has the speed to cause problems for anyone in this field on the right day, and a fast start at Hayward could set the tone for the rest of her season. 6 medalists, a collegiate record holder, a 5th fastest performer of all time. Richardson has to get past every single one of them in just 2 rounds to reach the top of the podium. That is the brutal comeback test hiding inside what looks like a normal 4th of July race. Remember, this whole storyline started with one question: can Richardson survive a field this deep after the season she just had? So far, every name added to this lineup has made that question harder to answer. Getting through this field takes more than one good run. Richardson has to clear her heat before she even reaches the final, and with only one heat standing between her and that final, there is no room to shake off a rough start the way she has in the past. Richardson knows this pressure better than anyone. She lived through exactly that kind of scare in Tokyo last year, when one bad start nearly cost her a place in the final altogether. This time, the safety net of a semifinal round will not be there to save her if it happens again. For Richardson, the math is simple even if the race will not be. She has the speed. She proved that in June with the fastest time she has run in nearly 3 years. But speed alone did not save her in Tokyo last year, and this field is built to expose any weakness in her start or her transition. Every second in that heat matters. Every step toward the final lane assignment is a fight against someone who has already beaten the best in the world at least once in the last 2 years. Fans in Eugene have seen Richardson win here before, twice. But this version of the Prefontaine Classic is not the one she won in 2023 or 2024. Those fields did not carry 6 medalists and a world leader all at once. This one has more medalists, more raw speed, and less room for error packed into a single afternoon than almost any 100-meter field outside of an Olympic or World Championship final. A 3rd Hayward Field title would mean more this year than it ever has, precisely because so many people expect her to fall short again after Tokyo.